All right. Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to get started here in a couple minutes, just giving everyone a few minutes to get logged in here. Of course, thank you all for joining us today. A nice short week. I think we'll give folks till like 2:03, and then we'll go ahead and get started here. Sure, we got our presenter. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm sure people will join in as we're going here. Welcome, everybody, to the September 3rd SWTC Illinois Community of Practice, presented by myself, of course, and the rest of the Community Research Specialist team. Thank you all for being here. Quick reminder that next month, the Community of Practice will take place during the annual meeting. So we'll be meeting in person and not in the virtual space. And we're going to give you a little more information about what that annual meeting Community of Practice is going to look like in October, a little later on in the COP today. So we can move along to the next slide. So we're going to go through the agenda quick here. Of course, welcome everybody. We're glad you could be here on this short week. We're going to go through some updates. I want to remind folks about the data trackers that we have that go along with SWTC. Then we're going to jump into our customer profile, which will be presented by HSS today. Our presentation will be from the National Disability Institute. We're going to talk about financial wellness and some of the supports and tools that they offer in regards to financial wellness. That will be presented by Michael Rausch. And then backed by popular demand is a game. So what we used to use is called Quizzes, and it has changed its name to Wayground. So if you want to go ahead and get prepped for that, you can go to open up your browser on your phone and just go to joinmyquiz.com. And then when we get to that section of the COP, there will be a number that pops up that you will enter in, and then you will be able to join the game. And the content for that quiz will just be all things that we're going to be discussing in the COP. Some SWTC related stuff, some National Disability Institute stuff will all be included in that. And then finally, to end the COP today, we are going to talk about the parent panel, which will be a training that we are working on putting together. This will be the intro to this, and then that's where what the COP will sort of be focused on at the annual meeting is discussing sort of parental concerns in regards to SWTC, competitive integrated employment, and that's going to be presented by Xiao Lei. Okay, we can move into the next slide here. So first and foremost, I want to announce that CTF does have a new employment specialist. I'm trying to see if she's on the call here. Deborah Horton has joined the team. I think it's maybe been about a month and a half, 2 months since she has joined the CTF team. So a big welcome to her. Deborah, if you're on the call, feel free to introduce yourself, say hello.
She's sitting here with me, Kyle.
Oh, okay. Hey, Deb.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for joining us today. I'm pretty sure you're coming to the annual meeting, so we'll all get to meet in person. I think that's a better space for introductions and stuff, but thank you for joining us here today. One thing I wanted to highlight, we put out the Switzy Connect every month. There's a lot of information in there, and I'm going to throw this link in the chat as well, so you all have quick access to it. But I know that this has come up in some of my recent conversations, which is the sort of when you're getting folks joining Switzy for the first time, and maybe their family member, parent, guardian is sort of used to the services received in transition under IDEA, and then they're sort of expecting the same thing when it comes to adult services. This is a document that you can utilize either to educate yourself on some of the things you can talk to them about, or simply print this out and give this to them, which kind of highlights the differences between the two services. I think that that's a difficult transition for both the client and the family when it comes to these services. Right, when someone's in a transition program, they're receiving services 5 days a week. When they move into adult services, they could only be meeting with the employment specialist once a week, once every 2 weeks. And that's a big difference for them to sort of, it's a big expectation difference for them. So this is some information you can utilize, give to them so they have a better understanding of what this looks like in the adult service world. Moving on to the Switzy Outreach Tracker. So as a part of the grant, each agency is required to perform at least one outreach event per quarter. So that could be going out with one of the CRS members, or of course on your own, to a transition event at a school, hosting a career fair, presenting at a local chamber of commerce. There's a number of different things you could do in order to fulfill that requirement. This includes, the youth, adults with disabilities, schools, business partners, communities, anyone you could think of that could help promote these services, get more people engaged in the program. And on our Switzy website, so for both these things I'm going to talk about, if you look at the resource hub, you can find links to the outreach tracker itself, along with a training that Christina has recorded on how to utilize that, and along with the PowerPoint presentation that goes along with that. So be sure to take a look at that. If you would have any questions about, you want to do outreach events, you're not really sure where to start, where to go, please reach out to your CRS team member and we can assist with sort of identifying some different things in the community, or maybe provide you some insight into outreach events that other agencies have done. So yeah, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to assist with that. Secondly, I want to highlight the Mathematica RSA Diff Baseline Survey. So there was an email that went out maybe a month ago from Jim to everybody. This is something that should be taking place with every new Switzy client. So this should just be part of the intake process. Ask basic level questions of where they're at when they join Switzy. And then after another 6 months, there will be another survey to kind of pick up to see what they've gained from participating in Switzy. So both of those things, both of the outreach tracker and the Diff baseline survey, are on the resource hub. So those are very easily accessible to you. If you have any questions, of course, reach out to us. We're happy to help. Does anyone have any questions about anything I've covered so far? I'm just looking at the chat here. And of course, yes, we do have Sylphies coming up during the week of September 8th for all the agencies. I know that's a big ask for everyone to get all those moving parts together. So thank you very much for working to get that together for Sylphies and Switzy. I think the products that come out from all that work make it worth it. They always turn out really, really great. Okay, we can move along to the next slide. So from here, I'm going to turn it over to Aletha and Judy from HSS. We have our customer case study that we're going to go through.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm not able to see. Okay, there I am. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us in our September COP, and we're excited to see everybody on the call. I'm joined here with one of our best and brightest employment specialists. That's you. I'm talking about you, Judy. Judy Raberman with the Human Support Services in Waterloo. Judy's going to share with us some information about one of our customers, and William goes by Billy. So I'm going to go ahead and let Judy take it from here.
Okay. William Ward, he's a sub-minimum wage earner. He's an adult, works at Taco Bell, $15.50 an hour, and he works 4 to 6 hours a week. Next slide. Next slide. Who has the slides? Okay. So Taco Bell, he's a dishwasher slash janitor. He provides accommodations required for successful placement into a job that is also available to the public in general. Direct communication in person, contacts help develop good rapport and build relationships. Next slide. Billy's DRS counselors, Tracy Williams. SWITSI Community Research Specialist is Aletha Alexander. Of course, me for the Agency Employment Specialist, Judy Roberman. He doesn't have any personal support worker. The wrap around our other special services is transportation provided, benefit planning, and housing at the Sillas. His family supporters, his mom and dad, Dennis and Judy Ward, on the job supporters, his manager, Dakota, and also all the workers who love him. Next
Judy,
slide.
I was wondering, Judy, if you can share about the transportation. How is this transportation being provided?
Okay, so here at HSS, we were able through the SWITSI grant to purchase vehicles for each of the ESs to use to transport our clients to their job and from their job. And that's as he becomes more independent, he may need to find other services through our agency, through other, like the housing, the Sillas, they help out doing the transportation. But there's always somebody to transport him here to his job or home.
Thank you so much, Judy.
Next slide. Employment barriers, remembering his personal identification number required for clocking in. He had issues with that. So I made him a lanyard with his name and his employee number on it. So he was able to just come in and punch his numbers in. Also, Taco Bell kind of made their own name badge for him too. And he is called the Dish Master. That's what they call him there. And he has a badge and he's so proud of it. I remind him to make sure all the dishes were scrubbed thoroughly and remind him to spray off the dishes with a lot of food on them before he puts them into the dish sink, which is like a big dishwasher. Sometimes he departed under the impression that his duties were completed although there were several tasks remaining unfinished. I went back and reminded him about the importance of finishing all the tasks before leaving. I also gave him extra tasks to keep him engaged during his shift. Next slide. During the discovery process, I identified this job as a suitable match for William by evaluating his skills, understanding his personal needs and preference, and aligning those with the job requirements and environment. A relationship with the client's employment site was established by visiting during the construction phase of the new Taco Bell, allowing for early engagement and insight into their expectations for employers or employees during these visits. I provided information about the SWITC program, highlighted its benefits, and how it supports both the employer and the employee. Next slide. I learned the importance of being persistent and not to give up. With future clients, I will adjust my method of job placement activities and make sure that we spend more time exploring all areas of interest. I have a better understanding of the importance of taking the time to thoroughly discuss individual likes and dislikes while also exploring job opportunities so the best match can be determined. I conduct weekly follow-ups with clients who I have transitioned to move independent roles while maintaining communication with management to ensure continued success. Next slide. Billy said, what do you like best about your job? He said that he likes doing the dishes because it gives him a break from being here at HSS from the CDS floor. He has had not jobs per pay, but volunteer work, cleaning, Camp Wartburg, HSS, and the courthouse grounds. Next slide.
Judy, not to interrupt you, they actually are paid for all of those jobs.
Oh, are they? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Erica, I didn't know that.
Yep, they're paid minimum wage for all those jobs. They're just considered contract jobs.
Okay, excuse me, contract jobs. So he is not volunteer. Something new I learned. Next slide.
I think, Judy, it's Aletha again. I think his comment about what does he like best is quite interesting. He'd rather be at work than being in the facility. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's something we tend to overlook about some of our customers. They would rather be working. Go ahead.
They would. He would work every day if they would let him. So
Good. Thank you.
With his first paycheck, he purchased several pairs of sunglasses and treated himself to some food. I think he's like at 4 or 5 pairs, and they are something to see. How does working at Taco Bell, being a SWITC participant, make you feel? He receives free food after his shift, which makes him feel appreciative and motivated to work. Next slide. Questions?
You know, I'll always jump in here with a question.
I even told Michelle, Kyle is going to be the first, and then probably Lisa. Go for it.
I'm wondering if, like working with his SILA staff, if that presented any issues, if they were supportive, if there was any time constraints about him being in the community, just how that relationship worked with him getting a job in the community.
He works 2 days during the week. So when he gets here in the morning, he comes to the CDS floor every day, and he doesn't start work till 1. So we're able to take him there, and then we generally go pick him up unless he calls us. And if he finishes sooner, then he will call us, and then we will pick him up and drop him off at his house.
So
So
not it's been a pretty smooth transition. It kind of falls into the same time frame that he would be maybe at the agency as well.
yes, except holidays. He did work this past holiday, and that was the people that work at the Sillas. They went ahead and they took him to the job and they picked him up. So
That's awesome. So
Yeah,
they're very
and
supportive of this as well.
Kyle,
yeah.
starting next week, we actually are going to have the agency staff or the Scylla staff pick him up after work. During the day at the Scyllas, there's only one full-time staff. So while we can still transport him from CDS, they'll start picking him up in the afternoons.
Okay. So it's a good
But
partnership.
yes, and I do want to point out, even though Judy did great, Billy was one prior to Switzy that even myself would have said was unemployable. Switzy has taught us so much that we are able to make sure the clients are successful.
So is this his first job in the community? Sorry if I missed that.
Yeah.
By himself, yes. Right, Erica?
Yes, other than those contract jobs through CDS.
Right. And what was the job coaching? What did that look like for you, Judy? What kind of supports did he require? Was it difficult to work within the Taco Bell? Were they receptive to that?
Oh, at first I kind of was a little worried because nobody was talking when we came at the first few visits. The employees, I don't think they knew what to think. But as time gone by, that they've really gotten to know Billy and have taken them under his wing. I think they will say they spoil him, which I tell them not to do that because that's when things start slipping. So but they have been really good, and Billy, he listens well, and just if you need to ask him to do something else, you just have to kind of like redirect him in different ways, positive ways, using gentle reinforcement. And I'm just really surprised. I go in there and check on him, and he does it all. And
Awesome.
all the other employees and the manager, they're just great with them. So that really counts. Like I always say, your natural supports.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I mean, that's a huge part of this is the people that you connect with in the community that are willing to support and understand what you're trying to do as well. And of course, a place like Taco Bell, it's extremely busy, I'm sure, where he's working. And to allow them for you to come in and work with him side by side, I
Yep.
think is crucial in him being successful.
Yep. Yeah, I was, let's see, with him. What do you think, Erica? A good 6 months before we finally started do a little fading away. And I was
Yeah.
worried. I was worried, but he did well. I mean,
Yeah, to me, I think Billy's going to be one that
squeeze him.
we will most likely need waiver services for after. And in my opinion, if we go in and check in on him even once a month just to keep him on track, I feel like Judy did so well with him, it'll stay there. But Billy is the type of person that when he becomes comfortable in something, he doesn't give it 100%. So that's why I feel like if we go back in and recoach even one day a month, that will keep him focused.
This is Michelle. I just wanted to add, when Billy first got hired there, it was to work in the freezer, replacing stock off the truck. And he did not like that. He failed miserably at that. And the manager on duty, she let him go. And Judy was able to work, a different position out for him.
Mm-hmm.
So that worked out great for everybody.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
I like that the manager was willing to take that next chance, right? Even though the first job was not appropriate for him. And that's a good sign that we should look within a job to see, within a business, to see if there are other opportunities more appropriately matched to our customers. So thank you for sharing that, Michelle. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think
and we certainly don't want them cutting his hours. Sorry, Kyle. We don't want him leaving and cutting his hours.
Like being able to pivot in this role, I think is really important, right? Like Judy, what you did to like, okay, this didn't work out, but what other area he might be successful in, I think is really an important way to look at things.
And also another thing, I'm sorry, Kyle.
Go ahead.
Just one more thing that I see a lot with our clients is when they get that check, it doesn't matter how much it is. They are just so excited. They go tell their friends, and it just puts a smile on your face knowing you did do something good, to help them out.
I think it's a lot more than money, right? That check
Yes.
doesn't just represent a dollar sign or amount.
Definitely.
It also represents like what I did was worthwhile and they value it. And because of that, I get this money, but it's also, I'm sure it's delivered in a different way than, the contract work he was doing. I think there's just a lot to be said about autonomy and independence. I think the value of those things is obviously why we do this work as well. We want people to get paid well, but we want Billy to be able to walk into Taco Bell and do his job, leave his job, make money, and for the people that he works with to be excited to have him there. Yeah.
He gets free food.
And now he's stepped up his sunglass game. He's got new sunglasses that he's excited about. So I think that's really, really great. I just wanted to look in the chat quick.
Well, great job, Judy. I just want to say, as your employment specialist, I appreciate everything that Human Support Services is doing in Waterloo service area and with our local DRS office in Belleville. We really appreciate all the work that you're doing. So thank you for presenting that today.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, Judy. I think what you guys have done to solve the transportation issue is you just took it upon yourselves, right? Obviously, it's not easy to do that. Money is, it's not, you don't just have the funds from all over the place to just buy a new vehicle and stuff, but you guys were able to make that work for your customers. I think it's really great. Anybody else have any questions? I'm looking in the list of attendees and oh, here we go. Okay. Our presenters are here.
Judy, this is Jim. If I can ask one question real quick. First of all, congratulations. Nice work and terrific presentation. Is there any opportunity as we move forward and as he's getting more and more comfortable with his position, is there any opportunity for an increase in hours or an increase in responsibilities for him?
Yes, that has come up. As of right now, they're a little slow, but they said she will increase them once. I mean, they're just kind of starting out. They've been there for a year now. Mm-hmm. And hopefully with all the college students going back to school and everything, that could be an opportunity for him. But right now, she just wants to keep it where it's at because it's a good fit right now.
Wonderful. We'll keep it. You know what? I'd be interested, and I'll be quiet. I'd be interested in maybe a 6-month update on him.
Okay.
See
mark it on the calendar, Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks
a lot. Thanks.
I have one other thing I'd like to say, and this doesn't have anything to do about Switzy. Well, yeah, kind of in a way. It has to do with the HSS, but I want to say Erica's in Chicago right now. I'm telling on you, Erica. She's with the girls group there doing
They
stuff
wanted
with
to,
them.
we were at the Science and Industry Museum. They wanted to come back and take a nap. So I'm like, I'm getting on the community of practice.
There you go.
We appreciate that.
They were jealous.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Enjoy the rest of your time in Chicago.
We are having a blast.
I'm sure. Okay, if there's nothing else, Judy, HSS, thank you all so much. Really nice job, Judy, both with the presentation and, you know, with securing that job for Billy. Awesome work.
Thank you.
And we can go along to the next slide. Okay, so now we have a presentation from the National Disability Institute, where they are going to discuss financial wellness for people with disabilities, some of the concepts, and of course, some of the services and trainings they offer in that field. So I'm going to pass it over to Kish, and I think Michael's on here.
Is Michael on?
I think so. I think he's here under financial wellness guest.
That would probably be it.
Michael, can you hear us?
Hi, Kyle. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Hi. Sorry, I was going to the wrong link. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that too. Yeah, there was some mix up in the link. I'm glad that you got the right one in time. There you are. Awesome. I'm just going to let you jump right into it. I gave a brief introduction, but I'll let you give a full introduction for yourself.
Great. Hi, everyone. I'm so grateful to be here. My name is Michael Rausch, and I am with the National Disability Institute. And I'm happy to be here with you all today, and happy to be here to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is financial wellness and how we can build financial wellness to be able to live the type of life that we choose to live. So today I'm going to share with you a little bit of information about financial wellness, various resources and some tools and some upcoming things, trainings, and then happy to answer any questions in our 30 minutes that we have together. Please note that you will have the slides, and so some of the information will just click through, but I wanted to make sure that you had the information so that you can go back and review it and have access to some of the resources that are available. Next slide, please. Great. So first of all, can I get a thumbs up or a high five or to share with me or put in the chat box those of you who have heard about the National Disability Institute before? Anybody heard about us before? All right. So a few of you, several of you. Oh yes, I'm seeing some familiar names that are popping up here as I am seeing the thumbs up. Well, great. Well, the organization I'm with is the National Disability Institute. We are based in Washington, D.C. I happen to live in the state of Florida, and we are a national nonprofit organization whose mission is to build a better financial future for individuals with disabilities and their families. We are the first national organization committed exclusively to building the economic empowerment, financial education, and asset development for individuals with disabilities and our families. Oh, I see my colleague Kish Pasani is here. I didn't know she would be able to make it, so great. I'm glad Kish is here too. If you want to learn more about us, please go to nationaldisabilityinstitute.org. For the next slide. So one of the things that's really important for us to talk about when we talk about financial wellness is how the National Disability Institute was founded, was really looking at the proper goals of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Here we have this great civil rights legislation that protects me and protects other people with disabilities to assure that we have equal access, right? And we get to participate within the community just like everyone else. But what people may not understand is that the proper goals of the Americans with Disabilities Act states to assure equality of opportunity, full participation, independent living, and economic self-sufficiency. How can we really be fully included in society if we aren't participating in the financial mainstream? But the civil rights legislation clearly states that economic self-sufficiency is my civil right, but yet we have public benefit programs that state, for me to remain eligible, I have to remain poor. And so that's one of the reasons why the National Disability Institute was founded, was to really challenge that and to build the awareness that achieving financial wellness and economic self-sufficiency is our civil right. Next slide, please. So before we go on, I want to make sure we have an even playing field and everybody understands what financial wellness means. Financial wellness, what it means to me, is different what it means to you, and then the person sitting next to you, all right? So there's three things that we look at when it comes to the definition of financial wellness. Can you fully meet current and ongoing financial obligations? Can you save for the future? And can you survive a financial shock? Financial shock is you lost a job, healthcare issues, a tire blew out, whatever. But these are three components that we look at. So there's no magical number that I need to make to achieve financial wellness. It's based on my lifestyle and what that, following these three definitions. Next slide, please. Financial wellness is really important when it comes to customized employment. And really when it comes to any type of employment that we're looking at, whether it's self-employment or competitive employment. So many of you may have gone through the discovery process or might be familiar with that, where we really look at what type of job is that a perfect fit for me. So this on the screen is a visual that we have to show that how all of these pieces lead to financial wellness. So going through the discovery process, really looking at my skills, leads to employment success, me getting that ideal job that I want, the action. Financial capability means like I'm using my money in a way that helps me achieve my goals, which leads to the outcome of financial wellness. That's why it's really important for us to remember that employment is one goal, but it's not the only goal. Oftentimes we think that employment is the one goal we're working towards, because so many of our benchmarks are tied to getting a job, right? If we use VR services, if we're using supported employment, oftentimes employment is that benchmark. Okay, we got them a job, we got a job, we're good. But really, we want to help individuals and ourselves get all the way to financial wellness, whatever that means. Next slide, please. So at the National Disability Institute, we look at 5 key strategies to financial wellness. So we look at first, we have to establish what our goal is, okay? Then after we establish our goal, let's say my goal is, I want to own a home on the beach someday, okay? So that could be my goal. How am I going to achieve that goal? So then we look at benefits planning and work support. We have to understand every single benefit that an individual is receiving. We need to make sure we understand which, if an individual is receiving Social Security benefits, is it SSI, Supplemental Security Income, or is it SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance? It's very important that we know which benefit. So we believe one of the key strategies is understanding all of the public benefits that an individual is receiving. Next, we believe once we understand that, it leads to better employment outcomes. if you're an individual who's heard, I can only work 20 hours a week because I receive a Social Security benefit. That may not be the case in your situation. You might be able to make more. So we believe when we understand our employment, our public benefits, it leads to better employment outcomes. We're able to eliminate various barriers to employment that can help us achieve the ideal job that we want. The next strategy we look at is whenever we can then start to have wages, we have to file taxes. Taxes are withheld within our paycheck, right? So then as we look at that component of it, is we want to make sure that individuals are accessing all of the favorable tax credits that they can receive, okay? Then, and that they file their taxes free of charge. And in the slides, you're going to see various resources that you can access. So then when we file our taxes and we do it for free of charge, then we can then lead to where we need to know, how do we manage that money? We then look at financial education, the importance of a banking account, financial coaching skills, and so forth, which then leads to asset development. It leads to us where we can build assets, those items that have value. Then we believe that can help an individual achieve the particular goal that they want. So let's go to the next slide and break this down and share with you just a few resources. So the first one, as I mentioned, is benefits planning and work support. Next slide, please. So I put in here for each of these just one little brief resource for you to get. In our 30 minutes together, we can't go through all of them, but I just wanted to make sure that you had something. So under benefits planning and work support, if you're working with an individual, or I know your program also has benefits counselors, but a great resource is the Work Incentives Planning and Assistance Program. Valuable resource for individuals understanding the benefits and returning to work. And they also are usually familiar with various financial wellness strategies that an individual can access. And I put here the slide to access the Work Incentive Planning and Assistance in your area. Next slide, please. So the next strategy, as I mentioned, employment. Whatever employment looks like for an individual, helping them identify the right job that they want to have. And it could be self-employment. Before I was at National Disability Institute, I was a researcher looking at self-employment for people with disabilities. So that really is also a viable option as well. Next slide, please. So to help an individual look at various resources, each of you help individuals with jobs, but also the American Job Centers, also known as the One-Stop Career Centers. And I provided a link here where you can access the American Job Centers in your area if you haven't been to a job center. The American Job Centers are basically America's employment agency, in the sense that they can help with resume writing, mock interviews. They have companies that post jobs with them. The thing is that you can use the American Job Centers, you can use VR, and you can use other community-based organizations all at the same time to help an individual achieve that ultimate goal. If you attend our training, I'll share with you some tips on how you can work with the American Job Centers to get them to send job postings to you every week or every other week as well. Next slide, please. So the next, as I mentioned, after we have employment and we have started to make wages, there's various opportunities for us when it comes to free tax preparation. Now you might be thinking like, oh my gosh, why are we talking about free tax preparation? Because studies show that individuals with disabilities are less likely to access free tax preparation services or not file because they think they don't have a filing requirement. But that's not true. Or individuals also think that if they're receiving a needs-based benefit and they accept a tax refund that they're entitled to, that they will lose their public benefit. But they'll only lose potentially their needs-based benefit, But the thing is that if you receive a federal tax refund, you get 12 months to spend that money down before it will impact your public benefit program. So really an important piece. Next slide. And I provided here a resource where you can go and find out more about the free tax preparation services in your area. The Volunteer Income Tax Program offers free tax help for people who generally make $66,000 or less. And I provided a link where you can type in and find different options for you to have your taxes done free of charge, or to be able to refer individuals. The free tax preparation sites are also trained on unique characteristics of taxes for individuals with disabilities. I am a VITA volunteer, and so I can attest that we are trained on specific pieces regarding just individuals with disabilities filing their taxes. Next slide, please. So now that we've understood our public benefits, I understand the difference between SSI and SSDI. I'm working more hours potentially. And now I've enhanced my employment status. Now it's January, I'm filing my taxes. Now I got this great tax refund and the earned income tax credit, child tax credit. So now what am I going to do with this extra money? So that's where financial education is so important. Now, you know, having spent 27 years on this information, looking at financial wellness, behavior economics, what's interesting is that oftentimes financial education is not brought to individuals with disabilities. It's like people think we don't need it, right? And but it's really important. Everybody needs financial education. Some of our materials, there's a story I would share about, I was doing some work with Special Olympics. I helped write a curriculum for Special Olympics that was supported by Bank of America. And a family had mentioned, oh, you see this is my son who was pacing back and forth in between trees. And they said, oh, see, do you think he's gonna sit through your financial education class? He can't even read. So I had my bag there and I pulled out a spending plan that had images on it for like a house. So there's an image of, not a cartoon, an image of a house, which could then had a place where you put in money to say how much I paid for rent or my mortgage. That parent said to me, what time's your sessions start? We'll be there. They showed up on the front row and the individual was able to participate because we had a variety of financial education materials that helped meet the individual where they're at instead of it being like one size fits all. So financial education and financial coaching are very important. We learn about bank accounts, spending plan, needs versus wants, savings, and so forth. Variety of topics there. Next slide, please. So here's some free financial education curriculum and some tools for you to have and to look at. FDIC's Money Smart, Hands-on Banking, Better Money Habits, and of course at the National Disability Institute. Really an important piece, really, and our focus groups even showed that we've done a couple years ago in Illinois that the financial education really benefited individuals greatly who had never had access to the information before. Another family member said, I taught my child without a disability about how to manage a bank account, but I never thought I needed to teach my child with a disability. And it was a light bulb moment. Like, again, everybody needs financial education. Next slide, please. And the last one is asset development. And you can go into the next slide. Asset development are all of those things that have ownership to them. A house, a car, education, we say, land, jewelry, artwork, and of course an ABLE account. An ABLE account is a tax advantage savings account for individuals with disabilities, their families, that allow them to save up to $19,000 per year. And so we provided a link here to the ABLE National Resource Center, as well as to the ABLE, Illinois ABLE as well. All right, next slide. So in my last 10 minutes here, I want to share with you a couple things. Here are some different resources. You're going to get these resources and you're going to take them with you. Next slide. So in our activities, our upcoming training, one of the things that we talk about is my vision for the future. We call it my American dream, but we also have different names for it too. Because this also goes aligned with the discovery process. You know, really looking at what is it that an individual wants and what type of life they would like to lead. This is a very impactful activity where individuals get to create their own vision board. There was a time where we would have the individuals complete their vision board, then we had their parents or their supports complete a vision board, and then we had them all come together to see if what the vision each of them had for each other was in alignment. So powerful, so powerful. So there's a variety of ways that you can do. And if you come to our training, you will learn more about this as well. But I want to share with you 2 examples of the vision board activity. I have implemented this in my life's work so much, and it's really allowed us to see from individuals in a way that maybe traditional assessments don't let us know about what it is that an individual would like. So next slide, please. So here's an example of a vision board that a student put together who was in a transition program, a college program, transition program. They really wanted to look at the type of job that they wanted. They wanted to volunteer. They have to research the job, they said. They have to talk to people about the job. They want to save money, and they also wanted to buy a home someday, and they wanted to work at Blue Cross. And so that is a picture of Blue Cross they're building. And then they wanted horses. So this was their vision board that they created. Simple vision board, but also helped us. So then on the other side of this vision board, which I didn't put a copy of it on here, then the employment specialists, job coaches, support staff, direct support professionals, on the back of it then showed all of the different 5 key strategies and what steps they would take to achieve the dream that they put on the front of the board. All right. Next slide, please. So the next slide was this vision board was done by an individual in the same transition program. Now, here's what I got to tell you. This individual went through all of the traditional assessments within their school, within the vocational rehabilitation as well. Through none of those assessments did it identify that he was an artist. He had never drawn anything, never did any of that. He came back to the class, and this is what he had envisioned, what his goal was. So this changed the whole trajectory of what we provided for him and how he would go. And he really established all of the steps to be able to get that. The exciting thing is that he went on to work for one of the largest PR firms in Jacksonville, Florida. And, you know, doing amazing in graphic design and public relations and things like that. So this, again, this vision board helped us identify, one, the type of job he wants, and also the financial aspects of lessons that he needed to learn to be able to achieve his American dream, or whatever his vision was. So we shared this with you because as we look at an individual and really looking at what type of job, what type of life that an individual wants to build, is we really have to get creative in how we help them identify what that might be. And so these are some examples. The next slide, please. So if any of this is of interest to you, we have 2 free upcoming trainings that will be taking place. Several of you have gone through the training. I see your names on here. And so on the next slide, it will share where there's 2 free 3-day trainings to come and learn even more about financial wellness. Could we advance the slide, please? I can't advance it. But thank you so much. So here you can learn to implement the financial wellness training for people with disabilities. Seating is limited. Our Chicago location is almost at capacity. I think we have like 5 more seats. So if you want to sign up for that one, please make sure you do. It is free for these different locations. We also are able to give continuing education hours for social workers, for mental health professionals, for qualified individuals, or qualified intellectual developmental disability professional. I'm sorry, each state has a different, we're national, so we work, and everybody has a different acronym. But also for QIDP piece as well. And we got it approved for 15 hours of the training. So if somebody comes to that and attends all 3 days, they will get that many hours. Free, we also provide lunch for free. The one will be October 21, 22nd, 23 at Blackburn, and the second one is October 28, 29, 30th at Heartland Human Care Services in Chicago. And here is the link to register, and I did see that somebody also put it in the chat box as well. Next slide, please. And finally, this is just a list of the different modules that are covered in the training. So we talk about money, financial capability, housing, credit, Social Security, work incentives, self-employment, protecting your identity, getting able ready, and guardianship. And folks do get a binder as well as a variety of resources and tools and support to be able to go back and deliver and offer the training. Now, let's say that training isn't an option for you. You don't have 3 days to go through it, but your agency might like to have somebody come and do a presentation. So with that, if you could go to the next slide, please. Next 2 slides, actually. And I'll also put it in the chat box. You can send an email to me at mroush@ndi-inc.org. And I'm going to put another email. You can also send it to ask@ndi-inc.org. And I put that in the chat box. Our colleague, Hope Price, will be able to share any requests with Kish, who can then put it into Basecamp. And then if there's somebody, a trainer, we have over 150 trainers. If there happens to be a trainer in your location who is available to offer 1 or 2 training sessions to your agency, then we will put that request out there. They would work out with you if it was, they charged for it, they needed copies made or things like that. So that's why we encourage agencies to send individuals to get trained, because then they can embed it within their system, within their service delivery, and we help with identifying those strategies to embed it into your system. But if that isn't an option, then potentially there are others that could come to do that. So I know that's a lot of information in the 30 minutes. I have 1 minute left to share, but I'm happy to answer any questions, and hope that you will join us for any financial wellness events that we have coming up. And I just want to say, financial wellness is cool. It's really cool, all right? And so I think it's really an important topic. And so we thank you for this time. And I will say that Christina is a trainer as well. And I see some other people on here who are also trainers. And so Tom, I see is on here. So we're grateful for that, and they can also speak to the training. Great.
Thank you very much for that, Michael. Any questions? I want to highlight a couple things, but if anyone has any questions, please feel free to jump in here. I put this link in the chat. I'm going to put it in again. I think the resource page, the resource handouts on the NDI website are really, really great. Very basic, very simple, very printable, easy to understand. There's a lot of resources in Spanish as well, which I think is very helpful. Another link I want to put in the chat is the videos that you all have. I think these are another, talking about this stuff can be a lot, but when you see the effect on someone's life, that might be a little more inspiring, because I think, kind of like you highlighted, Michael, I think one of two things happens is that the worry about Social Security benefits being affected, and then also that someone just says, this person can't understand this. They're not going to be able to have a say in these things in their lives. And I think that it's very, very important to open up that opportunity for individuals to have autonomy in their lives, in their financial well-being, and giving them the opportunity with different tools to play a role in their futures and their finances.
Great, thank you, Kyle. Thank you for sharing the videos. The videos actually are of individuals from Illinois, specifically the faces of financial wellness. There are actually real individuals who are from Illinois, yes, who have shared their story on how they built their financial wellness. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of familiar faces on there. I know we had Marielle on our call last month, so you guys will see Marielle on there. There's one individual that I worked with one-on-one when I was in CPS. So it's really great to see the work you all are doing. And then there are videos in Spanish as well. So I really like that you all have taken the time to do that and create bilingual resources as well. I think it's extremely important. Any questions? Of course, all this information. Go ahead, Christina.
I'll just chime in. I'm just gonna shout out NDI even more. So I went through the training as Michael shared, but it was absolutely a phenomenal training. Just you learn a lot, and I always describe it as you learn kind of like the shallow end. So you're able to debunk some of those myths that some of your customers and their families might come to you with. But you learn about those resources that are out there and who to put them in touch with that can support them with getting the deeper dive into these different topics. But in addition to that, just having this financial wellness network, it's been really beneficial. I know when I was in Chicago Public Schools, we used to do a financial literacy summit, and I had different trainers from all over the state come in and talk about these topics. So you can certainly do one-off modules with your agencies, but if you wanted to do a series of all the modules, awesome. You could incorporate that into your agency, maybe doing one a week or one a quarter, and, until you hit all 10 different modules. And I know I did some of them virtually. I did them from Tennessee when I lived in Tennessee. So there's definitely different ways to deliver the training, both in person as well as virtually. So just want to shout it out if you're ever interested in learning more about financial wellness and just different topics. I know I didn't know anything about VITA before going through this training, or anything about HUD resources before going through the training. So if you're seeking out additional knowledge, highly recommend going through those trainings.
Appreciate that, Christina. And I know Sharon on our team is going to be participating in one of the upcoming trainings as well. So it'll be great. Michael, did you want to say any last words?
No, I just am really grateful for this opportunity and for us to share and this information. And so thank you, Kyle, for allowing me to come here today. And thank you to my colleague, Tish, who helped put this together for me. And so we're really grateful and happy to answer any questions that you all have. So we appreciate it.
Awesome. We really appreciate you all as well. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And surely we will reach out with any questions or support. So thanks again. Oh, there's that link. Thanks, Christina. I talked about it and I forgot to put it in there. Thank you.
Great. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
All right. So all this stuff will be on the website, the whole PowerPoint presentation recording of this event. So the links that were put in the chat and that are on the slides, you will be able to access them at a later time. Of course, a simple Google to get you to NDI's website will get you all those resources as well. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so if you haven't already, please in your browser open up joinmyquiz.com. Of course, this will work on your phone, your iPad as well. And then I think, Christina, you need rights to present your screen.
Yep. And if you'd prefer to just click on that link that I shared in the chat, you can use that too. Okay, just waiting for sharing rights. All right. So if you want to go ahead and go to that joinmyquiz.com, and then you're going to enter code 412782, or you can just click on that link in the chat, or you can scan the QR. So you've got a couple of different options. It looks like we have 2 participants, so I'll wait for a few more people to join. We're bringing back some competition because you guys spoke and you guys liked the quizzes. So this is quizzes, it's just a new version. It's called Wayground now. Kyle, are you hearing me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I've got my headphones in, so I just wanted to check.
Okay, give us 1 sec here. Okay.
Okay, let's take about 15 more seconds. And then I will start our game. Okay, all right. Looks like we've got a good bit of people who have joined. Okay, so just a reminder with this, the question's going to be read. You want to answer correctly, obviously. And the quicker that you answer, the more points you get. So it is a bit of a competition. So let's see who's going to take home the trophy today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start. How often must agencies perform community outreach events? Is it once a month, once per quarter, twice per year, or only during the summertime? Okay. So as a reminder, you need to go ahead and do community outreach events once per quarter. Okay, so that's the correct answer. Once per quarter. So again, remember that can be anything from going out to transition fairs. It can be going out to schools, talking to business partners, community members. I do want to shout out, I know Kreider has already started to use that outreach form. So pat on the back. Some of you guys, that was a few weeks ago, so some people might have used it since. So keep up the good work. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go ahead and go to our next question. Which is not a step of financial wellness? Which is not a step of financial wellness? Discovery, employment success, financial capability, or independent living skills? Okay, Anne has jumped into the lead. Okay, so a reminder, independent living skills, while very important, is not a part of that financial wellness process. So the discovery process leads to employment success, which then leads to financial capability, and that ultimately leads to that financial wellness piece. Go ahead and start on our next question. What does the acronym AJC stand for? Is it American Job Center, American Jobs Club, American Job Seeker Center, or American Jobs Collective? Okay, Grace has jumped into the lead. Okay, so a reminder, you guys don't want to know how long it took for me to figure out four different options for that. But AJC stands for American Job Center. If you can actually find several different American job centers throughout the state of Illinois, it sometimes is referred to as like the unemployment office, but they have tons of different resources nationwide to help people search for jobs, find training options, and answer any other employment related questions. So that might even be another partner to reach out to talk to connect with for finding other employment opportunities for your customers. All right, next question. True or false? The Volunteer Income Tax Assistance or VITA programs offer free tax help to people making $66,000 or less, persons with disabilities, the elderly, and limited English speaking taxpayers who need assistance in preparing tax returns. That's a mouthful. Anne's back in the lead. Okay, so yes, true. This is a true statement. And to actually find VITA again is Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. There is a free website. If Kyle, if you want to drop that into the chat, irs.treasury.gov/free tax prep. That's where you can find your closest VITA program in your area, but they are located all throughout the nation. And as Michael said, it is in everyone's benefit to file a tax return, even if you're not making a ton of money each and every year. Okay, next one. How much money can you save in an ABLE account each year? How much money can you save in an ABLE account each year? All right. Anne is still in the lead. So you can save up to $19,000 a year in that ABLE account each and every year. There is something I don't think David, excuse me. I don't think that Michael got too far into it, but there is also a program called Able to Save. So if you're working, you can actually deposit more than $19,000 into your Able account each and every year. But Able accounts, again, are just a great way for Social Security recipients to protect their assets because you can have up to $100,000 in that account without your benefits being affected. And there are also, I know Michael might not have gotten too far into this, but there are also opportunities to save for retirement as well with your Able account. We had Rosemary Ladani come out and speak about Able accounts last year at the annual meeting. Kyle, if you want to drop that into the chat, we have, I think, the link to the recording from that session if you want to learn more about those Able accounts or, revisit that topic. All right, next question. How many modules are offered in the NDI Financial Wellness for Persons with Disabilities training? How many total modules are offered? Okay, Anne jumps to the lead, but Grace is not too far behind. So again, there are 10 total modules. Like Michael said, you can come out and have the trainers come out and speak about any of the modules. You could do all 10 modules, you could do a few. They are designed to be taught to anyone, both individuals with disabilities as well as their families. I've taught it to students, I've taught it to adults, I've taught it virtually, I've taught it in person. So again, I just want to reiterate, it's a really useful training, especially if you're supporting individuals who, access benefits and just to learn more about the options for them. So again, there are 10 financial wellness modules. Your organization can again have groups go through all 10 modules, or you can pick and choose the modules needed based on your clientele. Okay, last question. So this is for all the marbles. When is the next NDI 3-day training event? Is it September 28th through the 30th, October 1st through the 3rd, November 5th through the 7th, or October 21st through the 23rd? I think Anne might have took it home. Okay, so the next one again is October 21st through the 23rd. But just remember there are two occurring in October. And these are likely going to be the last ones for some time, just with funding and whatnot. So that first one is October 21st through 23rd at Blackburn College. And then the other event, which is in Chicago, is October 28th through 30th at Heartland Human Care Center Services, which is in Chicago. Okay, so let's see. It was Anne who won. All right, Anne, you got all the bragging rights this time, and Grace in second place and Jale in third place. Thanks everyone for participating.
Thank you, Christina, and big congrats. I really like the way this new quizzes looks. Way whatever it is, Wayground. It's a lot more fancy looking. And now that I'm here, we have a new member of the Switzy team with us here as well today. She came in second, I think, right? Grace Armon. She is the new visiting. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm clicking on a million things. Grace, do you want to introduce yourself quick?
Yeah, sure. Yes, I'm Grace. I believe the title is Visiting Research Support Specialist. But yes, I just started on Tuesday, and so yeah, it's been really exciting getting to know everyone, and apparently getting second place. That was kind of crazy. But yeah.
There you go. Thank you for that. So I'm sure you all remember Janelle. You would get emails from her sometimes. You see her at events. She would be on these calls. Janelle did take a new position. So Grace is coming to the team and doing some of that work. So that is a name that you will see popping around on emails, in the COP, in the leaderboards at Wayground activities. So my apologies for not doing that at the beginning of this, but welcome Grace to the team. Thank you very much. And please, any feedback you all on, Wayground, other activities like this, we're happy to, adjust these COPs based on some of your insights. If you want to tell your CRS, email me. We're always open to any sort of critiques or insights on these, on the community of practices. Any topics you'd like to see us cover, just shoot us an email and, we'll do everything we can to make that happen. So we can jump to the next slide. Okay, so as I had kind of discussed at the beginning of this, the next COP will be in person at the annual event. And we have Xiaolei from our team who's going to discuss kind of what that looks like, the reasoning behind it, because this is just the introduction to a bigger project that we are trying to work on here within SWTC. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Xiaolei.
Thank you, Kyle. And good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here again. This is my second time joining the community of practice, and didn't know that I'm gonna win the third place on this quiz. It's very fun. Yeah, again, just a brief introduction. My name is Xiaolei Tan. I am the research training specialist leading the training activities on the Illinois VR training project, as well as other training activities across different projects. And this is one of the current training effort that we're planning on implementing. And my role mostly is working closely with other CRSs and the SWTC team and implement specialist to support behind the scene, developing training plan and help those training to be delivered in the best way we can. We have received some requests in terms of addressing some challenges that's caused maybe by different kinds of family involvement, particularly on this training series. It's addressing some of the challenges reported by employment specialists around some of the anxiety issues from parents, caregivers, guardians throughout this CIE process. So we wanted to make sure that we facilitate the best way we can, because we think this is the first step should be understanding the problem, and all the employment specialists who work closely with the clients and the families are the ones who know where things are getting stuck and where are some of the barriers lie. So we hope that we can take this upcoming in-person opportunity to be in the same room, have a panel discussion around this issue, and to maybe provide some space and conversation around how to communicate with parents and families. And beyond this panel discussion that's upcoming this annual meeting, and we're also hoping to bring parents over to this platform with employment specialists and have a discussion between parents and employment specialists and other service providers to have a conversation. I think that's where we can move things forward. We're hoping that our role is in this training series, our roles will be the facilitators. We're hoping to establish the right platform, providing you all with the right and the safe space to bring up some specific issues in different agencies. Okay, so the title of this panel discussion that will be happening in October is Strengthening Family Provider Partnerships Through United Voices in 14C Transitions. And next slide, please. Yeah, the goal of this panel discussion is to first understand the barriers in the context of the employment specialist work in each agency. We may find some common challenges across 6 agencies, or we may find different challenges because of different reasons. So we're hoping that this session can be a place where people can share and talk. And I know our leaders have made it possible that this will be a in-person format of community practice where the majority of the audience will be our employment specialists. And we wanted to understand barriers specific in the context of some parental anxieties and family engagement or misunderstandings of the CIE process. And we also hope through the discussion to help facilitating effective communication between employment specialists and families. Oftentimes, I was advised in terms of working with families, we often wanted to solve the problem before even we understand it. So we hope that through some evidence-based practice tips and through our discussions in this panel discussion session in October, we can have some established communication strategies to be used and implemented in your daily practice with clients and families. The session will be in the format of panel discussion, meaning that it's going to be conversational, it's going to be informal. There will be guided discussion questions. And today I learned this new platform of doing quizzes. Maybe we'll have some of that format as well, just to make it more interactive. And you're gonna be talking with all the panelists and they all know you. So the panelists will be all the CRSs. And next slide, please. So how can you engage in this panel discussion? We really hope that you don't have to prepare anything, but we hope that you can bring your shared experiences, your insights, your questions related to some communication challenges or things that you think that went well, that through your practice that you found that, oh, this is working. And we hope that we can have some tips and solutions coming out from this group as well, in terms of your work with parents, family members, guardians. We have different guided questions and format of how the discussion will be led. And we really hope that this will be a meaningful, safe, and productive session, that everyone will be there in person to have some productive discussions around this topic. And here are the panelists that you all know: Elisa, Christina, Kyle, Nicole, Sharon, and Konsha, who all work closely with you all. So let me know if you have any immediate questions at this point, but I hope that this will be a very meaningful and enjoyable discussion in the upcoming weeks. Thank you. This is all I have.
Thank you, Xiaolei. Yeah, I think the CRS team really looks forward to it, to having this conversation. We've kind of talked about this during some of our ES roundtables, and I'm sure the CRSs, I know myself, we talk about it a lot. And that is a piece of this puzzle with SWTC that is we need to navigate as well. The employment specialist navigating parents, guardians, their expectations for not only their child or who they're working with, but also for their expectations of employment specialists themselves and the work that they do. Kind of touching back on the difference between transition and adult services. It can be confusing for folks. They can expect more than they receive, even though we understand that what they're receiving is just how it looks under adult services. So we look forward to having this conversation. I think it's going to be a fun conversation. I think it's going to bring some interesting things to light in the work that you all do day to day. Does anybody have any questions, comments about this or anything else covered in today's COP? We got 1 minute here. This was timed perfectly today. We will hang out for a little bit if you want to hang around and chat, but if not, feel free to go along about your day. If you've missed the registration for the annual meeting, reach out to your CRS, get some information about that. We want to get as many people there as possible, of course. Those are always really great events. And that's the last I got for y'all. I appreciate y'all making the time to join us today.